Reminding you that we're broadcasting on 99.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9 on the FM band. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and you're waking up with us right here on top of the bridge.
Up and go.
My name is Richie B.
You know this is your boy Shells.
He's here in the building.
All right. As usual at this time, we have a guest looking at a topical issue. And this morning it might turn out to be two guests. To give you the background information, you'd have heard about this 107-page report from the Integrity Commission that concluded that the Prime Minister of Jamaica may have influenced the awarding of millions of dollars in government contracts to a company owned by a business associate. The recommendation therefore was made in that report, which contained details of an investigation into the award of government contracts to a company named Westcon Construction Limited between the years 2006 and 2009. It was believed that the report was pointing to areas of conflict of interest, and these allegations were being made against the Prime Minister. As it has turned out, well, there's a number of developments since that, and I think I want to get right into it with our guest. We already have with us Mr. Lloyd B. Smith, who is a veteran journalist, and I'm really happy to have Lloyd on with us this morning to help us dissect this matter. Good morning, Lloyd. How are you doing?
Greetings.
Good morning, Richie B. I'm fine, thank you, and I trust all is well with you.
All is well. I think it's the first time we're getting a chance to talk with you on air since the start of the year, and I hope...
Yes, we have been distanced for some time.
Yes, but it's always good to have you. We're also joined, Lloyd, by Richard Dickie Crawford, who, of course, is a well-known political commentator. Good morning, Mr. Crawford.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. How are you?
We are well.
Good day, give
and we're happy to have you as well, Richard. All right. I think I want to start with you, Lloyd, by asking you to give us your initial reaction when you heard about this report by the Integrity Commission about the Prime Minister and the allegations that were contained. What was your initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction, as was the case with many well-thinking Jamaicans, is that the Prime Minister was in a pickle because of those allegations, which on the surface seemed to have had some merit, some substance. And so it was a bit very confusing when later on we discovered that the corruption prosecutor had in fact ruled that there was nothing to answer. There was no prima facie case. And so the whole thing just tumbled. The entire affair became a Humpty Dumpty. And I think that was unfortunate because in real terms, to me, the main issue is how government contracts are
awarded.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that issue still remains on the board. However, it has been now clouded by this, at first it seemed to have been a comedy of errors, but it's now more a tragedy of errors because it has detracted from the real essence of what we should be discussing. The fact too is that because this happened so long ago, and Mr. Holness was not Prime Minister then, but Minister of Education, again, some persons would want to think that, hey, why dig up old skeletons? But there is no statute of limitations where this type of activity is concerned, and so the Integrity Commission was quite in order to have, put this on the table of Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, it's unfortunate. What has really happened, though, is that the architecture, the structure of the Integrity Commission needs to be revisited. From all indications, the two major entities, the Office of the Corruption Prosecutor and that of the investigator, they operated like what you call silos. In other words, never the twain shall meet. And so neither knew what the other one apparently was doing. And that has to change, because if there was some amount of communication and interaction between these two entities in the Integrity Commission, one is almost sure that this unfortunate occurrence would not take place.
All right. Well, let me treat those as your initial comments, Lloyd, because we are going to rehash some of those points that you would have made. I want to bring on Dickie Crawford in the discussion now. Dickie, were you surprised, and can you speak to, were you concerned about how people would view the office of Prime Minister of Jamaica and even the Prime Minister himself when that report came out?
Yes, as usual, Lloyd has spoken very well on the issue. But it has been a problem in the country, as he said, for a very long time, that although we're trying to be a good government, whoever forms that government, we're not good governments, we're terrible governments. There's a lot of confusion and halfway houses being put out there. It's amazing we're talking about the Integrity Commission in this regard. The Integrity Commission was a commission formed previously by, if I'm not mistaken, the People's National Party government when they were in office at the time because of the concern in the society. And at a very early time after its appointment, the Integrity Commission was literally closed down because people, members of Parliament, ministers of government, did not like the attitude and the conduction of the Integrity Commission. So in other words, they thought the Integrity Commission had too much power, too much activity, and might infringe upon their own activities. So the Integrity Commission was absolved and has been resuscitated. So that shows you what has happened over this period of time. Also, when Lloyd talks about the earlier 10 years ago situation where 18 degrees north is a vibrant sort of activity, watchdog and government work. The issue at that time, 18 degrees north was castigated for this kind of work that they put into trying to expose the weaknesses in the government section. And therefore, I am not surprised at all. In fact, the timing right now is so amazing. You know, we are hearing elsewhere of great things that have taken place that really should not have taken place, and the people who are concerned will tell you they never even knew anything. Nobody knows Usain Bolt. Nobody knows SSL. Nobody knows anything. So how do we proceed on this basis if we do not seriously get down to looking at the realities and investigate it? So that's how I see it at this point in time. And we really have to also bear in mind that on the international scene, I notice we have, quote-unquote, brought in the FBI. A lot of information that it reflects upon Jamaica's status comes from abroad. And we rate very highly in corruption on the international scale, and that's not a good thing for Jamaica, and this has been for some time.
Yes, understood. Yes. Now, Mr. Smith, greetings, Shells here. How do you feel about the narrative? There's a narrative out there, Mr. Smith, stating that, you know, people feel like this was done intentionally in an attempt to, you know, embarrass a prime minister. Almost seems like people are reaching for a story, and people even believe that there should be another investigation in that matter. How do you feel about that narrative?
I'm not comfortable with it because, to begin with, most of the persons that I know who are part of the Integrity Commission are persons of integrity. These are public servants, in some instances, professionals who have served this country well. I don't know of them having any partisan connections, so to speak. So I would not want to go down that road. I cannot foresee or want to think that there was any malice aforethought. I think the persons involved were just carrying out their jobs. But we live in a very partisan country, and there are two aspects to our social structure which are very unfortunate. One is that we tend to tar and feather and see people as being guilty the moment any allegation is made against that person, instead of waiting for due process to take place, which is why my major argument at this time is that the Integrity Commission fumbled, albeit on a matter of process, or rather procedure, which has to change. And it is in that context that we should take the conversation forward and not begin to look for any, malice or mischief in the making, because that will only detract from the real issue, which is how contracts are awarded in this country. There is a whole swamp of corruption there that needs to be drained, and this particular incident had begun that process. However, it was handled badly, and so the Integrity Commission now has to see to it, as well as the Parliament itself, because the Integrity Commission is a creature of Parliament. The very same parliamentarians who are involved themselves, as has been said, in being involved in how contracts are awarded, and the whole business of cronyism and nepotism, which are very much there, So we have to not lose sight of that, which is the essence of what we should be looking at, and not just trying to make the Prime Minister look like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, I want to hear from Dickie on the matter of whether or not heads should roll, as some people are saying, as it relates to the Integrity Commission. We have noted that organizations like the National Integrity Action, headed by Professor Monroe, members of the private sector grouping, senators, the government senators have all expressed alarm, at the very least, as to how things have been handled. I can't recall seeing where the Integrity Commission has said that they erred. But what is your view? Should heads roll, or should we just sweep it and just pass on by?
No, heads cannot roll. It's an untidy situation. The whole country has to clean up its problems. The Integrity Commission, I agree with Lloyd B, is made up of persons and National Integrity Action and other members of the community who keep an eye on this issue of governance properly and not having this sort of situation. They are not people who are regarded by the longest stretch as being partisans. The thing has broken down, obviously, regardless of the way it came out. And in fact, one or two other persons have said at least the Integrity Commission was even trying perhaps to not embarrass the Prime Minister as the way they thought it could be done. But nevertheless, they acted. But in hearing this, I think that the people of our particular outlook would naturally run and ask for their heads to be rolled. That can't work. I mean, look at the situation in Jamaica at this point in time with governance, good government, corruption, killings, police killings and all like that. How can we possibly, at this stage, add to that dilemma, add to that awful situation by talking about heads must roll?
You don't see it that way, obviously. Lloyd, did the PNP jump the gun, and will it backfire in terms of their early reactions to this development?
To some extent, yes. I think they should have allowed for due process because it was an allegation that was being made against the Prime Minister. And I think the members of the political directorate of the PNP would also know about this whole business of how contracts are awarded and how MPs traditionally have been involved. In fact, it has been a convention in our political culture for MPs to influence the way in which contracts are awarded. This is no secret. And so I would have thought that the PMP would have held back a bit and let due process take place before it, as you said, jumped the gun in calling for the Prime Minister to step aside. You know, I would have preferred if when the charges, if the charges had been held up by the prosecutor of corruption, then certainly the Prime Minister would not only have to step aside, but in that case perhaps would have had to resign.
Yeah.
You know.
Final one, Dickie, as time is going so quickly. If no punitive action is to be taken against any member of the Integrity Commission, how might we ensure that kerfuffles like this don't occur again in the future?
I would be supporting at this point in time an open public investigation into all of this. It doesn't look so good, and we can't take the voice of one person, whoever and however important they are, as the conclusion to this thing. No, can't do that. I think that we are at a point in time in Jamaica, and you know, it's funny listening to Lloyd B this morning, because he has written so much about this particularly weakness in our system of government so many times before. We need to wake up. We need to get clear and have a proper investigation into all of this. I want to make a point too that is interesting. We talk about the Constitution, we talk about the laws and all like this. And basically speaking, when a minister is sworn in Jamaica at King's House, they have a right, yes, but they also have an obligation that if anything goes wrong during their period of managing the ministry, they have to hand in their resignation. Now, I know it's done almost by rote in England, but we copy this English Constitution and yet we don't copy those things. It's a very serious situation here. The Constitution of Jamaica says if you fail as a minister, all responsibility comes on your head in managing your ministry. So a lot has to be done. We're really, in a sense, joking around too long.
Thank you.
Continue like this.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard, Dickie Crawford, and thank you, Lloyd B. Smith. There's more to be discussed. I think I'll get you back both at another time. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Respect.
All right, it's a good time now for you to set your watches and your clocks. Look at it. Set it right. What time is it?
It's 9 in the a.m.
All right. So you're returning to the studio in a rush. I hope you didn't have to abort any of your other engagements in order to get here.
I don't think so.
I think I heard when Jody said, "Charles."
I don't think so.
So you don't think so? You
No,
don't?
I don't think so.
All right. I just want to make sure that you're okay.
Okay, we'll find out at 10.
All right. So I tried to trick our guest a little bit earlier by saying, "Okay, so I'm Shells and that is Richie B." She
sharp,
goes,
Richie.
don't even
She's
try
sharp.
that."
She's sharp.
Very, very sharp. But to tell our listeners a little bit about her, she's in fact a graduate of the Michael University, Edna Manley College as well, and the University of the West Indies, and she has been an educator for over 12 years. I think she's currently teaching at Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. She has a number of songs to her credit. She has shared stage with a number of local and international acts, and she's definitely building quite a career for herself. Her name is Trevelle Clarke-Whyne, and she's our guest this morning. Before she speaks those shells, I want to introduce Bridge Nation to one of her singles. I like the one called In Everything Give Thanks. Check this out. So what is interesting about this particular rendition of the track In Everything Give Thanks, shells? Trevelle, actually, we're listening to the acoustic rendition of it, right? And she decided before the song was released to actually test it with an audience, a live audience. And I suspect that based on the reaction that she got, she decided to go forward and release it as a single. Am I correct? Good morning, Trevelle.
Good morning. Good morning, Bridge FM. Good morning, Jamaica.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, actually.
Yes.
Thank you.
My story about the song In Everything Give Thanks, the track that we played a while ago, is that correct?
So it wasn't in front of a live audience, actually.
Oh.
So Bluesic Filmworks, Arif Butler and Davine Butler, they called me up and we did this, this live acoustic version together. So I'd written the song, we'd worked it out together.
Okay.
It was in the process of being released, but we wanted to get the story out because that song was actually stemming from me having a miscarriage in 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd written it and I shared the story with them, and they thought it would have been beautiful to do an acoustic version of it. So yeah.
You like the way it came out, though, I suspect.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
actually, and it definitely has done the what it's supposed to do. There are many women also who have shared how much it was encouraging for them because they were in similar situations also, and so of course the upbeat version kind of brings more of a rejoicing.
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, I've overcome.
You actually live by the mantra: live your life to leave a legacy.
Absolutely.
You do that each day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I strongly believe in, just leaving a legacy. Funny enough, I was just watching a woman's funeral a few years ago, and each time, someone came up to speak about her life, whether it was with her children or her relationship to her husband or to the church or just in general, I was like, man, she left an impact.
Wow.
And so, I said to myself, you need to leave an impact wherever you go. If you're at Edna Manley, your students should feel as if you have left them impacted.
Yeah.
Whether it's my church, my family, I want to leave an impact. And a good one.
We're very proud of what is going on at Edna Manley College. I was actually hosting an event during Reggae Month for Jaria and Mr. Ibu Cooper.
Yeah.
I invited him on stage just to highlight all of the directors of Jaria. And we spoke a little bit about the work and the students. In fact, he pointed to the band on the stand.
Yeah.
And he says, all of these are my students who are here performing and doing an excellent job. So we say big ups to Edna, where you're also teaching. What do you teach?
So I teach a number of courses there. I teach oral and sight singing. I teach voice as a principal instrument, choral techniques, vocal skills. What else? Research. Working with students who are doing their research, teaching practice, supervision. Yeah.
Shells has some ambitions. He has some good friends who have gone into the music business and are doing well, and he also has some ambitions along those lines. So now you're meeting somebody who can help you through.
No, so I've always said that.
And all that.
Yeah, I've always said that I've always wanted to go to Edna.
Yeah, man, we can talk.
Something about it, man. Something over there. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now, Trevelle, I'm seeing here that you started playing the piano at 9. So was it a case where, growing up, was it a case where music was forced on you, or was it a case where it just came naturally?
It wasn't forced at all. So I'd say I'm from a musical family. My mother, Hyacinth Gordon Clark, big up you, Gigi. She was a music teacher herself, and so she sent all three of us as children to music lessons. My brother went. He was doing it for a while, but then his music teacher died, and he lost interest after a while. I decided to continue with my notable music teacher, Paul Tucker. And so I was doing music lessons, and I wanted to do it. I enjoyed it. And I guess it would definitely, show, because I went on to do a diploma in music ed, a degree in music ed. So, yeah.
So even with all that background, why become a gospel artist? Because you're already theoretically you got it down pat. Why the music? Yeah.
So why become a gospel artist? I mean, I could use my talent to do anything. Funny enough, when I was leaving Edna Manley, I thought I was going to be this jazz singer. I love jazz so much, and I thought I was going to go St. Lucia Jazz Festival or so, and New Orleans and so on. But as I grew older, I grew more secure in my faith in Christ, and I feel like if I'm not doing the gospel or selling the gospel or introducing people to the gospel, then I'm kind of missing out, and so I take it as a privilege to be able to use my talent for the gospel's sake. Yeah.
Respect.
Do you write your own songs? Do you write original material?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah.
When you're writing a song, Trevelle, you're a teacher. Do you bring your teaching background to the writing that you do for your music?
I think The songwriting process for me, people have hundreds of songs in a journal somewhere. I don't. The truth is, as I said, like even within In Everything Give Thanks, it really was out of a situation the miscarriage, my father, Trevelle Clarke, big up to, had a surgery, and I went home in the night and the lyrics started coming to me. I grabbed my phone and I started writing it. Like my single that's supposed to be released next month, Dexter Johnson, who is my manager, sent me the track from a guy sent him the track. He sent me the track, and I went in the room and just lied on. All right, let's write. So I don't exactly have a process to say my teaching background influences it. It's really just in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, or a situation.
All right. What are you currently working on?
All right, so I'm currently working on this Afrofusion. Hey, okay. So I call it Afrofusion. It don't feel like an Afrobeat, but it feels like a nice little mashup of some Afrobeat and something else. We'll make sure Bridge gets it when it's ready.
Please do.
And I do have some other songs, worship songs working on. Have two. Well, is it two or one? A gospel reggae working on two. I have so many things in the bag, lots of things in the bag, but it can't come out the bag yet. I don't know why, but yeah.
We'll patiently wait.
I am patiently waiting too.
Yes. Well, listen, I want to wish you all the very, very best. Do you find it difficult straddling your career as a lecturer and also your music career?
Funny enough, the struggle doesn't come in as being a lecturer and a gospel artist, because we do music at Edna.
Yeah,
that makes it easy. The struggle comes in with, for example, my little daughter is sick right now. Finding that balance between also being a wife, a mother, and that's where the struggle comes in. So, but the Lord has been helping me.
Good.
And He's just been enlarging my boundaries. So like
nice.
you asked me earlier if I have events coming up. I did a itinerary. I call it ministry itinerary the other day and posted it on my Instagram. So like there are quite a few events I have coming up, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna work. The Lord is gonna help me. I have a supportive husband. Big up Adrian Wine. We have to big up everybody. But yeah, man. So the Lord has truly been helping me. That's all I can say.
That. Wonderful. Yeah. It's really nice seeing you. I think we spoke with her before via Zoom, I think it was then.
Yeah.
But good to see you in person here with us, and I wish
pleasure.
you all the best. How can persons actually follow you if you so desire on social media?
Yeah, man,
and so
they
on?
should desire. I'm joking. But you can follow me at Trevelle Clarke-Whyne. That's TrevelleClarke-Whyne. So Trevelle Clarke-Whyne on Instagram, Trevelle Clarke-Whyne on YouTube, and Trevelle Clarke-Whyne artist page on Facebook.
All right, can't miss her.
That's
Trevelle Clarke-Whyne. Thank you. Nice seeing you.
Thank you so much
Best
for having
wishes.
me here.
All right. I'm going to play your song called Your Presence in wrapping up this segment before we get to the GOJ Minute.